World War I. It was supposed to be the war that ended all wars. It became one of the deadliest conflicts in the world. How did this war start? Why did it last so long? Today, we're going to explore the story of World War I in a way that's easy to understand. And trust me, it's a story that you won't want to miss. Let's go back to 1914. Europe was like a powder keg, ready to explode. There were deep rivalries between countries like Germany, France, Russia, and Britain. These countries were building up huge armies and making secret alliances, which means that they promised to protect each other. If a war ever started, the spark that let this fire happen. In a small country called Bosnia, on June 28, 1914, a man named Gavrilo Princip, who was a part of a group fighting, assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. Franz Ferdinand was a heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his death sent shockwaves across Europe. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for the assassination and declared war on them. But remember those secret alliances? Russia was ally of Serbia, so they joined it. And Germany was an ally of Austria-Hungary, so they joined too. Soon after, France and Britain were pulled in, and within weeks, much of Europe was at war. World War I wasn't just a European war. Quickly spread across the globe. Countries in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia were also involved. Soldiers from colonies like India, Australia, and Canada fought for the European rulers. The war was fought on two main fronts, the Western Front and the Eastern Front. The Western Front ran through France and Belgium, where Germany was fighting against France, Britain, and later the United States. The Eastern Front was where Germany and Austria-Hungary were fighting against Russia. This war was different from any war before it. Trench warfare became the main way of fighting. Both sides dug deep trenches, which were long, narrow ditches in the ground, where soldiers would live, fight, and die. Life in the trenches was terrible, cold, wet, and full of diseases. World War I introduced many new weapons that made the fight even more deadly. Machine guns, which could fire hundreds of bullets a minute, made it impossible for soldiers to move across the battlefield without being shot. And then were tanks, airplanes, which were used for the first time in a major war. Tanks helped soldiers cross the dangerous no man's land between the trenches, and airplanes were used for spying and dropping bombs. One of the scariest new weapons was poison gas. It would fill the air with deadly chemicals that burned soldiers' lungs and skin. Gas masks became a crucial piece of equipment for soldiers, but even those didn't always save them. This was also one of the first wars where civilians, regular people like you and me, became targets. Bombs were dropped on towns, and food shortage caused hunger in many places. It was truly a global war with suffering everywhere. At first, the United States tried to stay out of the war. But in 1917, two important things happened that changed everything.
Jeez. Did you guys hear that?
First, Germany started attacking American ships using submarines.
Yes. Knox, what is it? No. They've attacked Pearl Harbor.
That can't be right.
Second, British spies intercepted a message from Germany to Mexico called the Zimmermann Telegram. In this message, Germany promised to help Mexico get back the land it had lost to the US if Mexico helped Germany in the war.
They're attacking with a second wave right now.
These actions pushed the United States to join the war on the side of the Allies, France, Britain, and Russia. The arrival of fresh American troops gave the Allies a big boost, and slowly they started to push back against Germany.
It wasn't a fighter plane, a tank, or a battleship that spelled the end of the First World War. Second half of 1918, Germany was in big trouble. It had defeated Russia, but it was losing in France. German forces were being pushed back, and its leaders no longer believed they could win the war.
After 4 long years, the war finally came to an end. In November 1918, by then, billions of civilians and soldiers had died. Germany and its allies were exhausted and they couldn't keep fighting. On November 11, 1918, an armistice, a peace agreement, was signed and the fighting stopped. The leaders of the winning countries met in France in 1919 to decide how to officially end the war. They signed the Treaty of Versailles, which placed all the blame of the war on Germany as a punishment. Germany had to give up land, pay a huge amount of money to other countries, and limit the size of their army. This treaty will later lead to more problems, but that's a story for another day. World War I changed the world forever. Old empires like the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed. New countries like Poland, Czechoslovakia were created, but the war also left deep scars. Entire cities were destroyed. Millions of people lost their lives, and the economy of many countries were ruined. Even though the war ended, the peace did not last. The harsh punishment put on Germany in the Treaty of Versailles helped the lead of the rise of Adolf Hitler, World War II. That's the story of the World War I. Started from the assassination of one man, but it grew into a global conflict that changed the world in the ways that no one could have imagined. It was a war of new technology, terrible battles, and incredible suffering, but it also taught us important lessons about peace and the danger of unchecked power. If you enjoy learning about World War I, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating stories from history. Thanks for watching.